Hello everyone, welcome. Today we are discussing about human immune system. So if we talk about human immune system, then we can always see whenever we there are diseases that is being caused. So that is because of the pathogens. See, when a mosquito is biting or when we are going outside, everyone is infected by the same virus or the bacteria. However, there are few people who are getting the diseases, and whereas the rest are not getting the diseases. Why is that so? It is because of how the immunity is there. How are you able to fight against the pathogen which has entered the body? So that is human immune system. Hence, we are learning about the human immune system. So human immune system, it basically has what? It basically has the it is the system that gives immunity to the body by recognizing, responding, and remembering the foreign antigen. So once you're infected by the antigen, your immune system will remember, okay, this is an antigen which has infected me, so that I can fight against the enemy right then and there. Okay. So it plays role in allergic reactions, autoimmune diseases, and organ transplantation. It includes lymphoid organs, tissues, cells, and antibodies. So if I have the my lymph nodes, there are numerous lymph nodes, okay, which are there. It is going to go ahead and it will be fighting against the diseases. I can have my tonsils. It can be the entrance of the thoracic duct into the subclavian vein, thymus, axillary lymph node, thoracic duct, spleen, inguinal lymph node. We have cervical lymph node, right lymphatic duct, Pierce patches in intestinal walls, red bone marrow. So all this are helping in the immune system. So in the lymph nodes, we are having these are the organs where origin, maturation, and proliferations of lymphocytes would occur. So when I say lymphoid organs, they are of two types: primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. Coming to the primary lymphoid organs, the organs where lymphocytes are matured and differentiated to antigen sensitive lymphocytes. So this it is of two types. One is happening in the bone marrow, which is the B cells, and one is happening in the thymus, which is the T cells. Okay. So in the bone marrow, what is there? In the bone marrow, we have the spongy bone. After that, we have the compact bone. There's inside, I have a yellow marrow, which is there. Okay. So, and later on, I have a red marrow, which is that was the ends of the bone. Okay. So, in the bones, from here, there is a lymphocytes that would proliferate and it will differentiate. Whereas very close to the chest area below the throat, I have the thymus. So thymus has two lobes. One is right lobe and one is left lobe. So now in the bone marrow, what is happening? This it is a site of formation of blood cells, including B and T cells. So in the bone marrow, I have both B and T cells, which will go ahead. So, which will be proliferating, which will be forming. The formation of B and T cells is taking place in the bone marrow. Okay, and whereas in the thymus, it's the bilobed organ, as I told you just before some time. It's seen near the heart and beneath the breastbone. It is large during the birth, but gradually it reduces in size and becomes very small in puberty. So basically, what happens when you take birth, everything is very foreign to you. So, hence, during the birth, I have the thymus very large because it needs to produce the T cells and it needs to fight against. Hence, when the T cells is being produced, it identifies the antigen. Then, after that, the bone marrow goes ahead, remembers that okay, this is my antigen. Now on, I'll be producing my B cells and T cells accordingly. So In thymus, what is it? Immature T lymphocytes from bone marrow is migrated to thymus and are matured. Now we have the secondary lymphoid organ. Secondary lymphoid organ, what do I have? The organs to which matured lymphocytes migrate from primary lymphoid organs. They interact with the antigen and then proliferate to become effector cells. So, like spleen and lymph nodes, they are my secondary lymphoid organs. In secondary lymphoid organs, what is happening? The lymphocytes I'm telling is maturing in the T cells. So once it is getting matured in the primary lymphoid organs, whether T cells or whether in the thymus or bone marrow, they will then interact with the antigen and then proliferate, and then become the effector cells. So these will be there in the spleen and lymph nodes. Okay. Now, if I talk about the organs, okay. So now, if I talk more about the secondary lymphoid organs, so I've told you that it is forming the effector cell. So now, if I see, I have a normal tonsils that is there. There's a soft spread, and then you have the small thing. If you open your mouth, put light into it, your torchlight into it, you can see there's a small extension which is there. That's uvula, and then I have on the two either sides I have the tonsils. So inflamed tonsillitis, what is there? There is the enlargement of the tonsils that is happening. Okay, so that is what is happening when I have tonsils. Like if we talk about Peyer's patches, Peyer's patches is what in the small intestine there are small patches that is going to happen. Okay, under the villi, so that is the Peyer's patches. So I have spleen, lymph node, tonsils, Peyer's patches, all are there. Okay, and another thing that I will have is malt. Malt is another secondary lymphoid organ and appendix as well. Okay, we will again read about malt and appendix is there, which we call as a vestigial organ. So now if I come one by one, if I talk about spleen, spleen means it is a bean-shaped organ. The stomach is there, just beside it, there's a spleen in the stomach. So it's a bean-shaped organ. It contains lymphocytes and phagocytes. It removes worn out RBCs and microorganisms from blood. And this is a reservoir of erythrocytes in the fetus. So the erythrocytes or RBCs, which is there in the fetus. Next, talking about the lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are what? It is found in the lymphatic system. This traps microorganisms or other antigens. So if I find any other antigen, it will trap. The trapped antigens, it activate the lymphocytes and cause immune response. So there is a follicle. So there is an outer region which contains the lymphocytes, cells that detect and destroy bacteria, harmful bacteria. Whereas the inner sides, what happens? It contains the macrophages. If it enters into, then there are macrophages. The cells, they are quite harmful and they eat up the bacteria. Okay, so now inside there are valves. So it ensures that the lymph flows in one direction. So lymph will move only outside. It will not move inside. And there are lymphatic vessels that carry lymph out of the lymph node. Okay, so and lymphatic vessels, there are few lymphatic vessels which will carry lymph into the lymph node. All right. So there are lymph. If there is an organism, it will simply trap the organism or antigen and kill it. Lastly, let me come to the malt. Malt is mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue. So it is located in the inner linings of the respiratory, digestive, or urinogenital tracts. So all this, if you see all these places, it will have a mucus which is being secreted. So this mucus, it is having a lymphoid tissue. So it's associated with the lymphoid tissue. Okay. It constitutes 50% of the lymphoid tissue. So if we talk about your nostrils, if any antigen is going to enter through the nose, I have the mucus in my nostrils, which will restrict the antigen to enter into the respiratory tract. So again, that is a malt which is going to occur. If you see this particular diagram very clearly, let me put this. I will say there is, so there's a vaccine antigen which is there. This is a bacterium or virus which is entering. Okay, so the bacterium, so this is a virus antigen which is there, and then after that I have the bacteria which is entering. So once it is entering, this is the small intestine. I have the Peyer's patches which is there. So inside the Peyer's patches, what is happening? So in the Peyer's patches, there is the native CD4 T cell. You can simply say that this is the T cells which is there. So these T cells are going to coordinate with the B cells, and there is this T helper cells which is there, which will interact with the B cells, and there will be the proliferations which will take place, and antibody is going to say. So T cells will go and have a T cell priming that will take place. Inside the plasma cell, it will go and coordinate with the lymph node. And once it goes into the lymph node, there will be the small intestine. It will slowly kill the particular organism. Okay, so that is how it will work. All right, so that's it. Thank you.